Samantha. LaFon is coming off a career-high performance against Arkansas State last Saturday. So questions for Samantha?
Let's start there with your performance. How's it feel to get one like that?
It feels really good. I'm glad we won, and I'm glad we won on Thursday too. Going into the game on Saturday, I wanted to go 2-0. We all wanted to go 2-0, and our team put up a really, really good fight both nights. I'm really happy for Rose. She got her 1,000th point in front of her family and all that stuff. It was a really special day. So,
what's changed from where you were having troubles finishing games or you're in close losses to now you're excelling? What has changed?
I think just us realizing we need to get over that hump earlier. We need to not put ourselves in a hole so early on in the game. And I think that once our team realizes, like, hey, we don't have to wait until the fourth quarter to really get it together. We're a good team, 40 minutes. Once we all kind of get that confidence about us, it's really hard to stop us. So.
Did that change with Troy, the fight you gave Troy, or that flip really with Southern Miss?
I would say we needed a win under our belt to feel it. We had kind of had some rough games, had some losses in a row, and I think that we're really not into moral victories. We want to win. So I think when we beat Southern Miss, we were like, okay, we can do this. We're good. So, yes, we put up a good fight against Troy, but we want to be on top at the end of the night.
I know, Coach, last week talked about how this kind of is like the reset to your season. Now you're at 5-5. You take on an absolute team who you kind of start off that first week of conference play. How do you guys keep that mindset of like just one game at a time and kind of now you're in a much different position than you were this time last week?
Yeah, I think we need to realize that we are good enough, but we also need to remember that when we go into the game, like I said before, it's going to take 40 minutes. We can't wait until the fourth quarter. So right now where we are, we need to realize that everything matters. Every play matters. Every time we go to execute something, we need to do it right. And like Coach Kemper says all the time, we just need to stick it. We need to put the ball in the basket. So moving forward, we got to be ready when the ball goes up.
Who's going to have the next breakthrough performance?
I'm not really sure. The one thing about this team is that we are really deep, so any night, one of those girls on the bench or the starting five can have a good night. That's what I love about this team. Anytime Coach Kemper calls on someone, they're ready. I see that from the youngest girl on the team to the oldest girl on the team. So I can't tell you who's going to have the next breakthrough performance, and I hope that everybody gets one before the year's over with.
You played App State back in December. Your team has changed since. Their team has changed since. What is the biggest key going into Thursday night?
I think the biggest key going into Thursday night is remembering all the things that we did well against App State at their place. We had just come off a win, and we played them on New Year's Eve. And I remember going into that game, we were happy. We were like, we just got our first Sun Belt win. We were excited, and we felt like the man in the arena. So I think remembering all the things that we did well against them. Defense is our identity, so making sure that we remember that and that we play up to our standards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Opening statement from Coach Kemper ahead of this week's home games against App State and Georgia State.
I mean, obviously, we're coming off of an important week for us last week with the two road wins. We definitely battled through some ups and downs, which in this sport you do that. And I thought we overcame a kind of a lackluster first half against Louisiana Monroe to really play pretty well in the second half and made some plays down the stretch to win. And then I felt like our Arkansas State performance was probably one of the better ones for 40 minutes that we put together. I mean, it was a road game that we started well, started offensively in a really good place, and then I thought we played pretty well in the fourth quarter too, and also not that we were up comfortably at all throughout the game, but we controlled it. I think we led pretty much throughout, even in those the second, third quarter. So that was a good performance and needed for many reasons. But I think listening to Samantha talk, I do think she's right about Southern Miss. We needed something to go well for us to, I think, just get back to instilling a little confidence that that we can do do good things. And so that was a key moment, and obviously we carried it through, finding ways to win on the road. So looking ahead to this week, as is very typical of any league in the country this time of year, if you look at the standings, it's 3 teams that are, I guess, within 1 game of each other. So I know that Appalachian State, I know that Georgia State, I know that Marshall, I think, are all thinking the same thing about this week, which is we need to perform well to hopefully make moves into I guess ahead of the group that we're in. And so I think we're all on the same page probably as teams, and it comes down to who does it the best when that ball goes up on Thursday and Saturday. So I'm excited about the 2 games. Obviously we have some history with Appalachian State. To my knowledge, we don't have much history with Georgia State. I've been here for a while, and we have yet to play them, so that one will be a new one. I think they had a really good weekend last weekend as a team, speaking of Georgia State, and so be new challenges, and I think one that our team is ready for.
What do you need to do this week to make sure you keep this road success happening at home?
They need to have an understanding of who we are, which is we cannot show up out there, roll the ball out, and expect talent to get us through there. As I tell them a lot, we have enough, but it's about the collective for us. I think Sam's right on our identity. We need to play good defense. I mean, that's got to be part of it. We don't need to try to outscore people. I guess that's maybe coach speak a little bit. You always try to outscore people, but when we kind of have that focus as a team, we have more success. Doesn't guarantee success, but we have more success. So I think it starts there. It just starts with an overall mentality that we need to be tougher to beat in the Henderson Center, and I thought we took a good step to that against Southern Miss.
Is there anything that App State does that you've seen since that concerns you? And same thing with Georgia State, just looking at them, trying to figure out what you need to do to combat them this week?
Yeah, that's a good question. App State is probably to my knowledge, they're one of the most guard-heavy lineups in the league. So we've played against a lot. If you've been watching games here, there's a lot of post play and size in this league. App does it a little bit different. They played a lot of the game down there against us with 5 guards, so you have to combat that. And then Georgia State, to be honest, I kind of take this stuff one at a time. I know what their results are, and I know we've got staff members working on that they're going to tell me. I usually start getting reports about Thursday morning when we're completely done with App. That this is kind of what we're looking at to prep. But I do know they had a nice weekend last weekend, and some of the wins they got were important. So to me, when I watch our league, there's a lot of really capable teams, and so you got to be ready every night. And I know this weekend is that for sure.
All right, Coach, you're going to the final home stretch of the season, a conference game so that you get to the tournament. What is your team's message through this next month and heading to the Sun Belt?
Well, I hope it's just let's try to play 1 game series well, and so I think much to my answer on the last question, we are working ahead, but I'm kind of focused on Appalachian State. That's where our players need to be focused on. And yeah, with the way that our league schedule is, you do kind of look at things you kind of have weekends, right? We have a home weekend this weekend, so they kind of go together. But I think our focus, if we can make it about playing well on Thursday and start from there, and then if you can do that, I guess we have eight times left. I think we can make another push. Which this last little 3-game winning streak was important. We kind of got ourselves off the mat, and now we're, I think, back in a place that we like more, and we're trying to move again, I guess. And I think our team understands that, but hopefully they are hungry about what gets them there.
Coach, you played App State back in December. Both teams have obviously changed since. What is the message this time around? Because you said all three teams you played this week, Georgia State and App State and you guys, all in one group together in the standings. Do you really emphasize that this week could be huge heading to the final month?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely talk about it, and you try to, and I think our team they're good on their own as far as educating on, when we're driving back on the way back home from Arkansas State. I mean, people know who's winning and who's, who won the games this weekend and what that means for everybody. So there's knowledge of that from them, but we certainly talked about it last weekend that we thought it was an important weekend to to try to have a good week on the road, and I think you start to present that again this week. But you take things from the last Appalachian State game, but they're going to do the same thing. I mean, they're going to look at what they did well and try to do that more, and they're going to look at the things that didn't go well and try to do that less. And so you got two teams that have now some experience this year. You can't change a lot. I don't know, that's 4 weeks ago. I mean, sure, we've changed, but you can't change a lot. And so I'm sure that they still key on certain things that they're trying to get done, and we're the same way. So I think it'll be two teams that I thought down there both teams really played hard. They had a really good first half. We had a really good second. I'm sure both coaches would like to eliminate some of the runs and be a little steadier, but it should be a good game.
Is there a fear that you look at that last game and you fall back on it a little too much instead of just going out and playing this game?
Not really. I mean, I guess you can give yourself anxiety about a whole bunch of scenarios that might play out, but I think most coaches look at these things as, I mean, this is a one game, this is a new game, different game. Sure, you learn things from what happened last time, but there's so many things. Our sport's just so volatile, I guess you would say, that you just don't know. I mean, when your first 4 shots go in, sometimes it completely changes the way that you play. So you try to learn things from it, but this will be a new and different experience.
Coach, what is your message to him about scoreboard watching? You kind of mentioned they're kind of looking around. Like, do you kind of emphasize that bit, or how do you try to control that? Like, they're still young with regards to, like, athlete experience, because some coaches are against scoreboard watching. How do you kind of mess up your players a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think it's scoreboard watching. I think it's you got to educate yourself about your competition, right? I mean, the NFL guys know who's winning and losing in their division and things like that, and I also think you just look at like scores and things, and you try to learn. I mean, this is new for us, right? So we don't know much about Louisiana, so we're learning things about them too. So I think there's curiosity there that when you're in a league for a long time and you have players that have played those same teams, everybody kind of has thoughts about what they think, right? And we just don't have those now. So I want them educated. I want them to watch basketball all they want. It just helps them learn the game and stuff like that. So I don't know that it's scoreboard watching. It's just educating yourself about the things that are going on in the league. Oh wow, that's a big win. That's one that maybe the computers didn't think was going to happen, and those kind of things. So it's more like that than anything.
Some big promotions this week, including Sweetheart Clinic on Saturday. So obviously, we'd like to have some fans out and everything. Or the team would like that.
Yeah, we are part of that. That's something that Marshall Athletics has been doing for many years, and it's really something to promote girls and women in sports. So it's a great opportunity for us. We have game prep that morning, so we've got a couple of our players who are injured and redshirted that are going to participate with some staff members. But it's a great thing if you've got a daughter. Know if you can get them involved, they would really enjoy it. So we have that on Saturday. We have Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Night on Thursday, there's kind of been a big push in basketball generally to kind of highlight that. So we're glad to be a part of that. We were last year, and we're doing it again this Thursday as well.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.